What's
All
up, big
right.
homie? How you feeling?
I mean, I'm good, my man. How are you?
I'm good. Just chilling, staying out the way, staying safe.
I hear
How
that.
you and that family? Everybody good?
Yeah, man. Had a little, a COVID thing at North Park and at the crib around Halloween, but everybody over it now, so it's pretty much go
Yeah.
time.
Okay. Well, I just want to say appreciate you for taking time out your day, to come on the podcast. It's definitely an honor to have you on. Some of these
I,
questions I'm gonna kind of tug at you about, basketball, see who you're gonna take, kind of put you on the spot a little bit, but it's all good.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Okay. For those, who don't know who you are, just give them a quick, summary of where you're from, where you grew up at, and stuff like that.
All right. Broadview, Illinois. Went to a school called Lindop as a young fella.
Yeah.
Back and forth from out west in Broadview, but most of the majority of it in Broadview. Went to St. Joe's High School, played there for 4 years. Three under the legendary Gene Pingatore.
Yeah.
Got a scholarship to Kansas, played two with Roy Williams, one with Pat Kennedy, who was the coach for Quentin Richardson, Bobby Simmons, and Lance Williams. And then I played one for the current coach right now, Dave Lato.
Yeah.
Played a
Okay.
couple years, played a couple years in Europe, Tallinn, Estonia, Mexico, and Spain for a short stint.
Okay. Okay. You got a long background, hooping and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, I had a good run at it at that time.
Okay. How long did you end up playing for in total?
Over there I played like 7,
Okay.
but it
Okay.
was
Then now
like
you into like,
it was chopped up a little bit. It was a couple times in the middle of a season where sometimes teams collapse, and I come back home and I actually worked at both of my schools, my grade school, Lindop, and I worked at St. Joe's as a coach.
yeah.
So,
So
it
that's
was
what
one
happened
of
after
those
you
things
got
I
done
had to
hooping.
pick up. Yeah.
Okay. 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 So now we're gonna get to the questions. The first question I always start off with is who is the GOAT? MJ, Kobe, or Bron? And then if you can put them in order.
Okay. It's easy. MJ, Kobe Bryant, right there. You hit it off.
Okay.
Now, like, I'm gonna say this. LeBron is one of the most complete basketball players we'll ever see. Um, Size, skill, height, IQ, and people always talk about he's not a dog or a killer, but what you got to understand, anybody that a career average of 27, they doing something right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He just happened to, if you look at it, Mike's career average is 32. LeBron 3.5 points off that. So if he not a killer, I don't know who is. And
Yeah.
Kobe, he was just more of an assassin, man. Kobe went for his. He had to wait early. People forget he played behind Eddie Jones, who was an
Yeah.
all-star, and he had to wait his time, which a lot of kids won't do now. And
Yeah.
then, I grew up on Big Mike. And let me say this. We're all prisoners of our own era. And what I mean by that is if you ask a kid that's maybe like 20 years old or younger, for them it's probably gonna be Bron.
Yeah.
For the kids maybe a little bit older than that, it could easily be Kobe. When you get
Yep.
35 plus, we grew up on Mike. I want to be like Mike. Like that was the thing. So I don't even think it's truly fair to say who's the GOAT in terms of eras. Those
Yeah.
guys dominated their era. Now, people have won on LeBron's run, but at the
Yep.
same time, he's still been pretty dominant in his era. So
What was it
I
like?
get him
10
all
straight
respect.
finals?
Yeah, I mean that's unheard of, fam. Like I don't think we'll ever see that again. Only way we would saw that if that Golden State team stayed together.
And they were healthy. Yep.
Yeah, that's the only way.
Okay. So yeah, 'cause I think what I say is you can't. It's kind of hard to when you try to do a GOAT and you trying to cross eras because as you know, what Mike played in was you can hand check, you can touch, you can bump. Now you
The
can't even
rules
like
was
touch a
a
player.
little
It's a
bit
foul.
different.
Yeah.
Think
And
about it
I would
like
tell
this:
somebody Mike would probably average 50 if he played today.
if you can't touch Mike, as physical as he was down there, Mike gonna get 40 plus when he wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
That's just gonna be a given. So and Mike was aggressive. Like if you look at Cole was Mike, with a little more handle. And I tell people that and they get mad. Kobe did have more handle than Mike, and he
Yeah,
shot more three balls. So,
yeah,
Mike was gonna go to that mid post, hit the turnaround, and that was that. So he was
yeah,
gonna go to the rim. If I can get 20 free throws, Mike gonna be 18 for 20 from the line and be chilling.
yeah. Okay. For you, who was your favorite player growing up? Like when you were coming up hooping, who was somebody that you were constantly watching, you know what I'm saying, film on, trying to pattern your game after a little bit?
Uh, See, that's an interesting thing because like earlier, I was born in 1980,
Mm-hmm.
so I got pictures. Like my first hoop was a Dr. J hoop. You know
Ooh,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? And so, you knew my godfather took me to a game one time, and I'm like, yo, dude, it's flying. But in reality, when I look back, this was like the old Dr. J. This was the Dr. J who was really getting it like that. And that led into Mike. So, Mike, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had the vertical, I had obviously the bar. So it was like, I want to get my mid range game pull ups, try to be like that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And then with the hops and all that, you just try to in high school. Sometimes you're just more talented than people, and you can pull that off. And so that's what I would just try to get to my mid range, and like now it's the three ball. Steph Curry has changed the dynamic of the game.
it's
Where like I was
crazy.
talking to a coach the other day, he said now kids run to the tray ball in a fast break, which they do. You know what I'm saying? Before we trying to get a dunk, now we trying to get a three.
Yeah.
So, it's just one of them things.
Okay. If I were to ask you to give me your top five players in the league right now, everybody healthy, who would be your top five?
Brian, KD, Steph, uh, mm, I still fool with AD
Okay. Can't go wrong with
and
AD.
everybody healthy. I ain't gonna lie, I fool with Devin Booker too.
Ooh, okay. So D Book would be your five spot?
Yeah, I like he get after his all the time. He relentless about his approach. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
And it
Like people always talk like James Harden and all of that. Like that's cool, and I'm not really like a big fan of Giannis like that either. I mean, he dominant, he get it done, but like
yeah.
you know what? No, let me go Kawhi.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about Kawhi.
Kawhi, Kawhi,
Okay.
Kawhi.
What was I gonna say? So you think with D Book having Chris Paul, I think his game is gonna elevate to a higher level now because he ain't got to create his shot as much as he was when he didn't have Chris Paul. You know?
People don't realize Chris Paul taught that OKC team before he left how to win. That's why the kid Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who used to go to Kentucky,
Yeah.
that's why he's playing so well right now
Yep.
because of the time spent with a vet like Chris Paul.
Yeah.
That
And that's
was
what I'm saying.
instrumental to
People,
his whole basketball game.
Chris Paul make you better, man. Not just as your floor general, but like mentally, all that he prepare you. So that's why I think OKC wiped out full house and kept Shea. Shea is gonna be their Chris Paul for them. He's gonna lead. He's
Absolutely.
gonna help attract free agents and trades and stuff like that because they trying to build him up. And I think Chris Paul was a perfect player to to
Listen,
play with.
HOF. Remember
Yeah,
that. He going
yeah,
there. He's definitely
yeah.
going there.
Facts. Okay. For you, do you have a favorite basketball moment of your career personally?
You know what's crazy? My best basketball moment was more as a coach. Like my playing days, you score a lot of points and you
Yeah,
do that a lot of times and people think like that's, the end all be all. But I enjoy giving to the players that I coached more.
yeah,
In 2015, at St. Joe's, God bless my coach's heart, soul, Coach Ping. Um,
yeah. Rest in
we
peace to that
won
man.
with that group. We won with that group of kids, and like I was more proud of them. You know, Jordan Nash and Glenn Watson, Joffrey Brown, Nick Rakosovic, LeVon, Dex,
Yeah,
the whole nine. Everybody that was on that team, Jarvis.
Yep.
I got more gratification out of watching them have the experience than
Yeah.
stuff that I did, because it was like, those other moments was just my moment. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
moment was something that I'll never forget, because I just remember the looks on everybody's faces and people's parents and
Yeah.
friends and the faculty and staff. So like that was huge.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I remember I went to East Aurora. I remember we played y'all at the St. Charles tournament. And y'all did us so dirty, man. Y'all did us so
And
dirty. So
and
so to see y'all
that
so to see y'all win was like, all right, now we feel a little bit better about it because we lost to somebody that
yeah,
ended up winning the state championship. You know what I'm saying? So but
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
and like I said, I grew up like we talked on the phone. I grew up in Oak Park, and I actually played for the Memorial Park Wildcats. So like
Okay,
Glenn and Jarvis and all them, I knew of them. You know what I'm saying? So when I moved to Aurora, I'm just like, hey man, look, y'all gotta be ready to hoop, man. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta be ready to hoop. Like these dudes is getting Division 1 looks and offers. Like man, we gotta be ready to play. So to see y'all win was definitely, you know what I'm saying? I was definitely happy for y'all, man.
gratitude, gratitude.
So during your hooping days, who is the toughest person you ever had to guard?
This is interesting because I got a partner that I coach AAU with, named Reggie Bates, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we always go over these scenarios, and like I ain't gonna lie, like I can go down the line. It was just a couple dudes, and for different reasons. Um, One was actually my teammate Amari Sawyer.
That's
Uh,
fam, yup.
he was real crafty. Me, him, and Bobby Simmons would play 1-on-1
Yeah.
before and after practice all the time. And he was just shifty and had a lot of moves. He was kind of like Kyrie Irving esque before Kyrie, obviously. And
Facts.
Bobby, he was tall, he's 6'7" with a handle and could shoot it.
Yup.
He was real smooth. He didn't have to move fast. He get you, put his body on you.
Yup.
Another crazy cover for me was Paul McPherson.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, it was like playing basketball against Ray Lewis, because he was like overly physical. Yeah, like I enjoyed it though. I enjoyed it though, fam. I can't lie. Like I really did, because it was like this is a different look.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously I got a chance to play against D Wade in college, and
Ooh,
he was
we.
he was yeah, when he was at Marquette and we was at DePaul. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was tough. And quiet as kept, my last one. Now he one of the all-time leading scorers in the state. Now he's younger than me. I remember coming back home, and my guy Casey, we went to Westmont to play at the little rec center, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we get there. I'm like, man, who gym is this? He like, Pierre Pierce is opening the gym up. I was like, oh, okay, shorty who went to, look at my guy face on there. Shorty who
Face, what
went
up,
to
big bro?
yeah, shorty who went to Westmont. He averaged 40. And I'm like, yeah, but he went to Westmont though, fam. Like I'm kind of like, yo, nah, I don't believe it. And he had killed at Iowa already.
Yeah.
And we got out there, and it was real. Like I enjoy it all though. Like the competitive piece. That's what we here to do. So going out there just like looking at it in the raw for what it was. Those couple guys was dudes that I really enjoyed competing with. That was real tough covers because they were all kind of different. But I
Yeah.
enjoyed the back and forth.
Facts. Okay. Now, if I was to ask you if you had a favorite teammate, is that a tough one for you?
No, that's not. You know what? It's not. I had a teammate at Kansas, man. He was a walk on at first, but ended up getting a scholarship named Terry Nona, who's actually he might be the associate women's head coach at
Okay.
Maryland. So he's coaching high level women's basketball, and the dude just like he was pure comedy, fam. Like we could be in like a tight game, and he'll just walk up and be like, yo, don't do nothing weak when you walk out there. Like it was just like he always had like something random, and like he was probably my favorite teammate. Push. He always wanted me to do well. When he got in the game, I always wanted to see him succeed, and I'm glad he's doing that on the coaching side now. And yeah, he was just like a dude that's gonna always stick out to me in terms of just camaraderie and it being on the team.
Facts. Respect. So, like, when was the game actually introduced to you? Like, did somebody like put the ball in your hand, or did it run in the family? You just gravitated
Um,
to it.
I had an older cousin, well, two older cousins. Mark Baker, who's actually he's a mayor in Fulton County, Georgia, and then my cousin Tim, who I grew up with. He actually went to Lincoln Park.
Hmm.
And we would play. I would play all sports: soccer, baseball, football. Play basketball. But like, I really wasn't serious about it. I was
Yeah.
shorter and a little heavy set, like entering high school. But I could play
Hmm.
baseball pretty well. And between my freshman and sophomore year, I had a 6.5, 7 inch growth spurt. And I can honestly say I would always play basketball, but I didn't. I didn't take it like serious at first. I can't even lie. And
Yeah.
so being 16, I remember going, we playing and stuff, and one of the assistants, Robert Early and Brandon Aldridge, he came up to me and was like, bro, like you could like play for real, like you could play for some money. And I'm like, I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed the competition. I was really having fun. And it was like I'm
Hmm.
with my boys. I mean, I can do it, but like to really, how like training and I do player development is different when you got somebody kind of like giving it to you. Like I give them the game, how to screen, how to screen, what to look for. It was just like me. I'm just playing.
Yeah.
And so as a sophomore, Ping brought me in the office and was like, "Yo, you can play Division 1, and after that, if you go about this the right way." So I was kind of late to the party, so to speak.
Yeah.
But nobody really put it in my hands. But my two cousins were the two that I watched playing basketball growing up. My cousin Mark went to Steinmetz, and my other cousin went to Lincoln Park. So we would always get in the back, alley on the crate, all of that.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how the game was given to me.
Yeah. So like, but for you, so like sophomore year, that's when you really took it serious. When you was like,
That's when I
okay,
started to take it more serious because it's like everybody telling me this, and I'm like, I look at it's a game. Like, I always tell players like this is something you would play for free. So just put your all into it, man. So yeah, I really started to take it like more serious at that point.
okay. For you, not to get like too personal, but like, what's something that you overcame in life that made you the person you are today?
Well, I just think just daily getting through these things and like what we dealing with now, pandemic, and I'm not sure if you know, but like 2016, I was recruiting for Lewis University because I coached there before I coached at
Hmm.
North Park, and I was out recruiting a kid, and got in my car getting ready to leave, and some guys thought I was somebody else. We in Chicago, South Side, and they
Oh yeah.
started shooting. They shot my truck 22 times. You know what I'm saying? Under, like a mistaken identity situation, but I got hit in my arm and my leg, and like sitting in the hospital room, like just looking up, just thinking about all of the stuff that you've done or been through and possibly could go through, because I wasn't sure how my body was going to react,
Yeah.
but when you sit back and look at it, sometimes mentally people be fried after things like that, or certain things like PTSD or whatever the case may be, and walk around fearful to just be normal. And we live in an interesting world now.
Yeah.
Even just reading the news, what happened in Evanston yesterday with the guy shooting random people and things like that. So
Yeah.
I just think to be around here now, like everybody winning, if you can survive and keep your mind right, and find an outlet,
Yeah.
that's the main thing.
Yeah. But you all good though. You don't have like any side effects from it. You all healed up
No,
and
like
good to
if I
go.
go like work out a hoop or something, other than like random swelling, like nothing else.
Okay.
I'm
Good.
pretty
Good.
good.
Good. Okay. Good. Glad to hear that. So going to St. Joe's, how was it? Playing for Ping, probably one of the
It
best
was
coaches from Illinois.
ever, ever. It was interesting because I wasn't on the radar first.
Hmm.
One of my teammates and his family just joined. I saw it, Rob Walls. uh, he was like the guy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We got to school 6'5", big Kawhi hands, shoot it, rebound it. He was tough, like competitor, the whole nine. Played at Butler.
Yep.
I was just trying to be one of the guys, to be totally honest, man. And my freshman year, I played freshman A and B. Um, and it was like it was an experience, man. You waking up playing at 7 o'clock in the morning, ain't nobody in the
Yeah.
gym, is freezing cold. You
Yeah.
know, it was just a part of my particular process. And once I got to varsity, and the levels and intensity picked up a lot more, and you have to adjust to the speed,
Yeah.
quickness of everything. My sophomore year moving up before the playoffs, um, like it was cool, played behind some guys, but I got reps. My junior year, I came on a lot more, and Ping was really, just trying to teach us the basics of the game, how to read the screen, uh, really be aggressive, but you got to share. You play with 5, 6 other D1 players, because if you think about it, the year after we graduated, they won the state championship in '99 with Brandon Watkins.
Yeah.
So that team was very talented. So it wasn't like I was going to get, nobody's going to get 20, 25 shots. You better
Yeah.
average those 20 on 12 shots. Be efficient. Yeah. You got to, hey, man, that I can honestly say, and like I said, me and Rob talk about that because he got a son that plays, and you have to be effective and efficient in what you do, or you're going to take away from your team.
Yeah.
That's what we can't do. So
Okay.
Ping just taught us to be efficient and effective, and how to be men, and tuck your shirt in, take your hat off when you walk in the building, look people in the eye,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. It was kind of like military school, to be honest, but add in a little basketball, I guess.
Okay. Now, playing for Ping, and your recruiting came in. You signed to Kansas. Did Kansas offer you, or were you a walk on, or how did the
Yeah,
Kansas situation work?
it started off kind of slow. My first offer was New Mexico State.
Okay.
And from there, you start getting mid majors, but as the process started going along, and I started to be more aggressive. I remember we played in a tournament at DePaul,
Mm-hmm.
and the old alumni hall was like a pit. And I just remember it being jam packed. There was a bunch of coaches at the top, and we came out to warm up. We played a team called Andrean from Indiana, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't know what they came to do, but I'm about to get busy. Like that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking when I looked up in the crowd. I'm like, oh my God, every coach is here. Like I'm talking about Big 10, Big 12, ACC, because it was a tournament. It was a full day of tournaments where Simeon with Bobby played, Quentin Richardson and
Oh.
Cordell Henry played, and Dennis
Okay.
Gates and Whitney Young and Joey Range and Maggette. And so it was like, yo, we fall right in the middle of this. I'm about
Mm-hmm.
to go off. And I remember, like, the funny thing is, that was the most rebounds I ever got in a basketball game. And I just, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, I went crazy. It was like 18 and 22, 22 boards. That was the most rebounds I ever had in any game, though. But
Yeah.
that made my teammates were shooting a lot too. So they were trying to get busy too. So I ain't mad at them though. I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad. But I
Okay.
just
So.
remember after that game, and the game was probably like right before conference started. And before I know it, Ping called me in the office, and he handed me like boxes of, that's when they used to really send letters. They
Yeah.
don't really do that no more. It's more texting and, all of that stuff. But
Yep.
yeah,
Social
it was one of
media.
them things where he handed me, hey man, you got a whole bunch of stuff after that tournament. I'm just like, bet that's what I was looking to do. And so then I had got like an Arizona offer. Um, who else? I had a UCLA offer, and then Kansas offered me right after that. But
Okay.
like the whole process with them, they send one coach, then the lowest assistant, then the second coach come, then Roy came to one of our games when we lost to Fenwick in the sectional final. He was at that game, and I played pretty well even in the loss. And so at that point, then he came up. What I'm saying, obviously Coach K was there to see McGiddy. And it's just like, yeah, I just wanted to see you, put my eyes on you myself, and I'm glad we offered, and I'm just like, yeah, and that's how it go. I took a
Okay.
visit, you know, came back, was impressed, and I ended up signing. I signed late though. I signed in April.
Hmm.
I went through the whole process and kind of just saw it for what it was and just went from there. And so I picked Kansas. But if
Okay.
I
Now,
didn't pick them,
did you go on a bunch of visits?
and I only took three.
Okay.
Only took I took I took an Arizona, a Kansas, and a Minnesota visit. If I didn't go to Kansas, I probably would have went to Minnesota. Clem
Now
Haskins was the
UCLA.
coach
You
at
weren't
the
trying to go
time.
to LA, huh?
Nah, man, I just knew what that would turn into for me, man. I'm not. I'll put it this way: I ain't no glutton for punishment, so I don't want to punish myself and go out there and do some stuff. And
Yeah.
you know, nah, I got a couple buddies out in L.A. You know what I'm saying, and that wasn't gonna be it.
Oh,
That
okay.
wasn't gonna be
Gotcha.
it for me. Nah.
Gotcha. Okay. So then you played, 2 years at Kansas, and then you transferred. You had to sit out a year.
Right.
Um, what led to the Paul, the Paul choice?
Well, if you think about it, all of the guys I came up competing against, like I said, Amari had signed. I had got a little more familiar with Andre Brown. Steve Hunter lived 3 minutes from me. He was there.
Yeah.
You know, Big Lance Williams, a dude who one of my best friends to this day. Every time he come in town, like, we hang. It's one of those things where there was a comfort level there where I
Yeah.
had played against or with all of these dudes at a certain point. But the hard thing is when I look back, you got everybody from Chicago who was like a A1 on the same team.
Yeah.
Somebody got to pass the ball, and like we tried. I mean, it was just a struggle because it was like you got everybody, and you know how everybody got like a crew and they people.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, you should be the man, or he should be the man. So like this Chicago, Lance know who I am, Bobby know who I am, Amari know who I am, Steve know who I am, whatever the case
Yeah.
may be, and vice versa. So if we could have learned to play together better, it would have been a better situation.
Yeah.
But
So for you, it
coming
was like
home,
playing.
coming home didn't help out. It like nah, it was nah, it wasn't good for me.
So for you, it was kind of like playing pickup at the Y with the homies,
Pretty much,
pretty
because
much.
we all had we were familiar with each other, but it was under different circumstances though, because of the coaching style and the system or whatever. We
Yeah.
thought that we would play one way, and it ended up not being that.
Yeah. Okay. For you, coming from Ping, he don't have any tolerance for slack or anything like that. So for playing high school ball and then elevating to college, what was the biggest jump for you, and that you had to pretty much elevate yourself to make sure you prepare for?
Physically, I left Joe's 6'3", 180 pounds. Now I'm beating people to the rim, able to just go up and dunk, finish on people or whatever I wanted. You
Hmm.
get to Kansas, you beat somebody baseline. My teammate 7'1", 260.
Yeah.
Meet you outside the lane. If you ain't jumping over the top of them, you better. I hope your reverse game nice because you just not finishing on that, man. So, like, taking those lumps and bumps on the regular, like where you have to be able to use your body and contort and finish and all of that stuff, the physicality of it, like you got point guards, they might have been smaller, like 6 foot, 6'1", but they like 210. So,
Yeah.
turning corners and being physical, that was probably the biggest adjustment as far as the game when you physically have to be ready to go to battle at, forget the game at practice. You got to
Yeah.
understand, I was six man on the team with like 9 McDonald's, 10 McDonald's All Americans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to go out there and just carve that niche out, like you got to work.
Yeah. So like mentally, how long did it take you? Because you got to, come from high school. You may have
I
practice
was, you know
before
what?
school.
The craziest thing was I remember we played Michigan State with Mateen Cleaves and Mo Peterson and Charlie Bell, the team that actually won it one of them years.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember how physical they were. And so from that point on, like I just tried to, I was trying to double up in the weight room and kind of make sure like I was handling that part, body sore, but still trying to get stronger. And
Yeah.
when conference season came, I remember coming home for Christmas. Back then, you could go and practice with the high school team. So I was hooping against the state championship team. And like the more physical you are, the better off it's going to be. And when conference season started, that's when I hit stride. And I had like 4 double-figure games in a row, like right off the bat. And like to the point where we walking out of the tunnel and the crowd yelling, start, 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 like I should start. I'm like, yo, this wow. It's 16-5 in Allen Fieldhouse, yo, and that's like electric. You walk out there, your body like, whoo. It was a
Yeah.
little different, you know what I'm saying? But at that point, I did notice, like, by the time conference started, I was probably clocking about 195. So I gained 15 just in that amount of time. So, just staying on it or whatever and continuing throughout the process, by the time the conference season came, I had kind of hit my stride.
Okay. Now, after your years in college, did you try to go pro? Like, did you try out for NBA
Well, see,
teams, or you
and
thinking
that,
like
you
I'm
know
gonna go
what,
overseas?
that's the interesting thing about it. Like with the numbers I had, they weren't great. Like I can sit up here and
Hmm.
say that as a man, you got to swallow that sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, at that point, it's about finding an agent that can work for you.
Yeah.
Going through the process, I ended up getting an agent named Keith Kreider from Edge Sports, who actually represented me and got me a couple
Yeah.
gigs or whatever. And you got to think I came out, and like I said, the first when I went to Estonia, it was like '03, '02, '03. And '05, funny thing, I came home and started playing in the semi-pro league with a team called it was in the International Basketball League, the IBL, and the team was called Windy City Dogs that practiced out at Harper College out there by Woodfield Mall, like Schaumburg area, like way out
Okay.
there. And playing in the league, it's Tim Hardaway in the league. It's a couple pros in the league, right? I'm thinking he was playing for a team in like Iowa somewhere. I remember
Uh-huh.
the game we played, he had 45, and I had like 30 something. So our next home game, I noticed I saw this dude, and come to find out, he was one of the GMs for the Milwaukee Bucks named Dave Babcock. And I was
Oh,
thinking to
okay.
myself, no way, what is this dude doing out in like just random Waterloo, Iowa? Nah, like I don't get it. But people try to find talent anywhere. They see numbers people putting up. And so he mailed something to the facility and the coach gave it to me after practice. Our coach was actually played for the Boston Celtics. His name was John Bagley. He passed away years ago, but he was the point guard for the Celtics years ago. And he was like, "Yeah, man, you need to take this opportunity." So it was one weekend in the summer. Like I rode down to Milwaukee, and they
Hmm.
had a 3-day mini camp, and I was able, I made it through all 3 days. And the funny thing is, it was like a contract came up, and it might have been Mo Williams, and his agent pulled out one of them numbers like, "You gonna take Mo? You got to take one of our other clients." And Babcock called me in the office and was like, "We got to cut you. You played well. Like, they kept stats and everything. We probably played 2 or 3 scrimmages a day." And he was like, "I can't lie. You good enough to play. Like, you good enough to do it. But with these contracts, they trying to get the big fish."
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm 3-4 years out. It's '05. I'm 25 years old at the time. So I had to take that L, and I went to Mexico after that. But I also got drafted in the well, it was the D League at the time. I
Hmm.
got drafted a little bit after that as well. So, and that was probably 2 years after I played in the IBL. I ended up getting drafted.
Okay.
So
So going to Mexico, how did the Mexico like overseas contract happen? Did you just like, look, I just want to hoop, man, send me overseas, stuff like that?
Mexico called Halcones in Veracruz, Mexico. And it's overseas, but to me it's really not because it was like an hour and a
Mm-hmm.
half flight from like Houston.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel
Yeah.
like, before where you on 12, 13 hour flight. But
Yup.
it was like a paid vacation to hoop. I mean, you going to like Cozumel, Tijuana, people where people go to take vacations at. You know
Yup.
what I'm saying? But you going at a hoop. So, those was my last 2.5, 3 years, but I enjoyed it. It was a bunch of different players that I seen, like even from Chicago, come across Reggie Jordan and a couple other dudes that was playing out there. So, I mean, I enjoyed the process.
Yeah. Okay. Now this question is my favorite question to ask, like Chicago Hoopers, because they kind of stumble on this one. So I'm interested to see what you're gonna say. If you had to create a team from Chicago all time, 1 through 5, who would you take?
Well, I gotta go with my alumni for the point guard, Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
Um,
Facts.
for the two, probably gotta go D Wade.
Facts.
My small forward would be Michael Finley.
Oh, yep.
My
Mike Finley.
power, my power forward would be Jawan Howard.
That's a good pick.
No, no, no. Yeah. Jawan Howard. And my
Okay.
five would probably be AD.
Okay. I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at that. Okay, so this question, I'm gonna give you a skill set, and you tell me which player you would take the skill set from.
Okay.
Passing.
Oh, passing. Wow. Damn. LeBron.
Can't go wrong with that. Shooting.
Steph. That's easy.
Hands down. Defense.
Pat Bev.
Okay. Rebounding.
Rebounder. Hmm. Who best rebounder? Is this like okay? I'm gonna ask you this. Is this like just overall? Because sometimes like it's dudes that's in the league now that was hella fine rebounders at a time, but now they got older and ain't the same.
No, we thinking like the whole across the whole board all time.
Oh, all time.
Yeah, we going like all
Well,
time. Yeah. My bad. I
okay.
should have
Wait,
said that.
wait,
Yeah,
wait,
all
wait. We
time.
might have to run these questions back.
Okay, back up. All right. All right. So who you take passing from?
Magic,
Okay. Shooting.
Steph.
Okay. Defense.
I'm gonna go Rodman.
Okay.
He locked up a
Rebounding.
lot of dudes that he ain't had no business locking up.
Yeah. Yeah. Rebounding.
Shoot, I could go him again.
Rodman. Facts. Clutch.
I'm gonna go Big Mike.
Okay. And then last
Dipset.
one. Oh, last two. IQ.
Brian.
And then like just aggressiveness, like the dog mentality.
Iverson.
Facts. That's a good one. Okay.
Man, you gotta
So when
think
you were
Iverson not even 6 feet tall, fam. I done
not
seen him in
even.
person a bunch of times, and it's amazing what he accomplished. Fam is like 5'10", 5'11", like a buck 65.
You know, in the NBA, they got to boost your height up a little bit, just a little bit. You know, in
Yeah,
the
I
NBA,
don't
they be
think
like,
that's
yeah, Iverson is
right.
6'1". He is not 6'1". Iverson like
No,
5'10".
you're a little fella.
Okay. So when you played ball, what was your dominant position? Were you a shooting guard,
I
small
was a
forward?
two guard. I
Okay.
played the wing.
Okay. So you were a two guard. So I want you to give me your top 5 shooting guards of all time.
Mike, Kobe, D Wade. Um, See, and this dude don't get enough credit because he wasn't on great teams, but he was a dog. And people gonna probably be on my line about this. Mitch Richmond was cold.
I'm not mad at that.
Mitch Richmond was cold. He just wasn't on the greatest teams, fam.
Facts.
And my fifth, hmm, might I might have to go with Reggie.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. So you ain't go. A lot of people put AI in the shooting guard because he
See,
really is
and
shooting
the
guard.
thing is, see, that's always my question with him. Like, if you're
Yeah.
talking AI as two guard, I would roll with him. You know, he just happened to be the smallest dude on the floor. But if that's the case, if he's in that class, I would take him.
Okay. And then one more
That's right,
question for
Run. You
you.
see that Run TMC right there?
Yeah, that's pops.
Look
He
at my
always on
guy
me
talking
about
about
that.
Ron Harper. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this: if Ron Harper stays healthy in the gold chain era when he was in Cleveland, #4 in Cleveland with the orange jerseys, he might have made the top 5 before the knee injuries because he used to give Mike fits. The
Oh, I
old
got one
Ron
more
Harper
for
used
you.
to give Mike
What
fits.
about what about Clyde Drexler?
See, like, and this is the interesting thing about this. Like, even we talked about earlier with like Dr. J.
Yeah.
Clyde Drexler didn't have a lot of moves to me. Like, the game has evolved move wise in terms of
Yeah.
like how these guys are. So if I was to say there was a little bit of evolution from Dr. J, it would be Drexler as opposed to like Big Mike. Big
Yeah.
Mike was Big Mike was different in terms of that. And look at this guy talking about Harden. No, I'm not. I ain't rolling. I can't fool with James Harden. He ain't gonna never win nothing. He can score, but he ain't gonna win nothing. I ain't fooling. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm not mad at that five though. I ain't mad at that five at all. Plus it's Joe five. That's who you rock with. This question. If you could have 5 dinner guests, dead or alive, to sit with you and have conversation with, 5 people, dead or alive, who would be at your table with you?
Dead or alive.
Yep. You can do any sport, music, musician,
I
president,
would
whichever.
actually, I would like to, it would have been like, because of the two different perspectives, I would say Malcolm and Martin.
Yep.
Um, I would have liked to have a conversation with like Obama as well.
Yep.
Um, I'm trying to think who else. Um, this may sound weird, but I didn't really know my dad's father well, but I would
Yeah.
hear a lot about him.
Yep.
And I would have loved to like be able to sit up as an adult and like have a conversation with him.
Facts.
Um,
That's respected.
and honestly, I would give an arm and a leg to talk to my high school coach again.
Facts. Facts. That's a good five. For you, what has the game of basketball taught you that carries into everyday life?
That you can compare it to everyday life. The lessons you learn on the floor, being a good
Mm-hmm.
teammate, being accountable, being a leader. It's not all about you. Um,
Yeah.
Discipline, all of those different things. Uh, you know, that's major. That's major in life in general. Like, as men, we got, you're gonna have to be a father and a husband one day, and you're gonna
Yep.
have to lead. I lead young men on a daily basis. I have fun with them, but at the same time, I got to give them the game too, because at some point they gonna walk away from me, and I hope that in the back of their mind, they be like, man, Coach London would have said such and such, because I try to meet them where they are, so that I can reach
Yeah.
them first, and
Yep.
then you could take those lessons and those situations I put you in and put them to use in your life, whichever way you got to go, whatever way you got to navigate.
Yep.
Hopefully I said something or done something to make an impression on you that you could use something that I taught you. So
Facts.
that's really where I'm at with it now. Because it's definitely not. It's not about. It's never been just about me.
Facts.
You tend to
We
think
go.
that at that time, but when you in it, man, I'm cold. He
Yep.
might be cold, but just like there's somebody just as cold on the East Coast, Midwest, out
Yep.
wherever the case may be. So you got to be that much better than that. And
Yeah.
when adversity comes, because it's gonna come, how you gonna react
Facts.
to
Facts. Look at my guy Jordan Taylor. I had him on yesterday. He said you got him rethinking his answers.
it?
Okay. So as a coach, if a young, teaching the younger generation, if somebody was to come to you and say, "Look, coach, I need some advice just to make sure I make it with this hooping stuff," what's the first advice you would give them?
First advice I would give them is to be early. You want to beat everybody to the punch. Like, I'm an advocate for kids getting up early and getting to it,
Yeah.
because if I can get to the gym, if I can get to the gym 3 times and you get there one, I should have the advantage.
Yep.
And a lot of times, college coaches, they test kids in terms of discipline, like, are they willing to get up? Are they willing to push early, right? Because let's be real, at some point, the majority of these people playing basketball, shooting the ball, aren't going to work for the association or in the association as a player. So my point is, what if your boss at, who knows, NBC says you got to be in the office in your desk at 7 a.m.? What you gonna tell them? Nah, man, I ain't used to getting up early. Guess what? You gonna be broke with no gig on the street.
Yep.
So my first piece of advice is to get up and be early, and you can jump ahead of a lot of other stuff.
Facts. For you, what's your favorite basketball movie? I know that's kind of a good one.
He got game.
I knew it. I knew it. A lot of
Oh,
people say that. A lot of people say that. A lot of people say Hoop Dreams.
man,
I thought you were gonna say Hoop
and the funny
Dreams.
thing, Arthur Agee is my man. Like, that's my boy.
Yeah.
But my favorite basketball movie is definitely He Got Game.
Okay.
Came out my senior year in high school while I was in it.
Yeah.
I was going through that same process.
Somebody said he
People say,
always up early.
"Oh yeah, I'll be up at like 4, 5 o'clock in the morning on the computer, like looking
Getting
at
it.
plays, looking at sets every day. I go to sleep
Wow.
early, get up early.
So you be sleep by like you be. So you pass your bedtime now,
No, we good because the football game is still on right now. But I'm gonna tell you this: I would probably go eat, watch a little of the game. I'll be done in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
huh? Okay. Okay. Now this question for you right here. I'm gonna give you two players. You just pick who you think the better player or who you would have on your team.
Okay.
Bron and KD.
Ah, boy. Who would I want to hoop with?
Who would have on your team? Whichever.
I would want Brian on my team because, like, see, the thing, I think what hurts Brian a lot at times is he still wants to be liked a little bit. So,
Yeah.
like, he wants all of his teammates to have the experience, and if that's the case, that means I'm gonna have an experience too. The selfish part of me say, "Hey, man, kick it to the corner. You might not want to shoot the game winner, but I will if you go kick it over there." So I'm not saying, like KD is a better scorer than LeBron,
Thanks.
but I would rather hoop with LeBron.
Okay. Steph or Dame?
Who?
Steph or Dame? Damian Lillard.
I'm going Steph. I put it like this: like, I don't think Dame and CJ win because of how they play. Like, they get buckets and stuff, but when your two best players probably average maybe 11 assists combined, can't win. Not in the West. If you think
I
about it,
don't say that.
think about they
Melo,
shoot a
my favorite
lot. They
player,
shoot
and
a
he on Portland.
lot. They shoot a lot of balls and only get probably 11 assists between both of them. That's why people are like, man, Portland's so talented. They don't share enough. And you think about it, you have Steph, KD, Clay, and Draymond on the same floor, and that ball swinging, moving, screen, and people cutting. That's why it was just fun to watch. And like I told you, if they don't get hurt, that team keep running them off. There's no way you beating them. No way.
I didn't even think about it like that. That's a good way to think about it. Just like that
Yeah.
San Antonio team.
And if you think about it, when you look at them on paper, they had the 3 stars, yes. But you talking about like Sean Elliott at one time and like Robert, Robert already got rings, but like he was a specialist. That team didn't have, a whole lot of dudes out there like that, but they played together. You know what I'm saying? Can't beat that.
Yeah. James Harden or Luka?
Luka, easy. I'll put it this way, and people be getting mad with this.
So you don't like Harden at all?
Luka is the white LeBron without athleticism. Look at the numbers. Lead his team in points, rebound, assists. He efficient, got a good IQ. Hell, he might even be more clutch in terms of game winners. I would be willing if you do it again to do a split screen and see. But look at Luka. Luka was 28, 9, and like 8. He's just not as athletic, fam. They put up the same numbers. Look at the numbers. I'm not talking about I'm just saying his effect on the game. He dominates the ball like Bron. He's just not as athletic. But the way that he plays the game, he controls what his teammates do.
Facts. Okay. Now that you said it like that, okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying he played like no.
Okay, I get what you mean now.
No, let's not get that twisted.
Okay. Now you say it like that, it makes sense now. Kawhi or Giannis?
Kawhi who?
Or Giannis?
Kawhi. Look at what he did. Even look what he did with that what's the name team? That Toronto team, fam. Like, come on, man. And granted, Golden State was hurt. Hurt, but you got to win with who on the floor.
Yep.
And
so do you think if Clay and KD don't get hurt, they win that series?
You say what?
If Clay and KD don't get hurt, do you think they still win that series?
Not at all. KD didn't win in that if they healthy, bro. Even if you look at what KD did before the Achilles went, he had Kawhi out there. He had Kawhi on the island. It was getting bad early. It was getting bad.
And he was doing Bron bad too, though.
Yeah, he do everybody. Ain't nobody guarding that.
Yeah.
That's 7'2" guard. Come on, man. No, I don't care who you put out there. Ain't no matchup for that. None.
Brad Beal or Jimmy Butler?
Wow. This is a good one right here because I like both of them. Shoot. See, and I was interested to see Brad Beal like with his own team. Like Jimmy got a bunch of shooters to the finals. Like if I'm looking at overall, I'll probably take Jimmy just because of the two-way.
Yeah.
And no, he's not putting up Brad's numbers offensively, but at the same token, he don't have to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Bill scored 101 points in 2 games and they lost both.
Can't win.
Like it's rough. He can score that thing as good as anybody.
Yeah.
But winning over everything.
Yeah. I had like 2 episodes ago, I had John Lucas on, and he was saying every team Jimmy Butler went to, they elevated. That Philly team lost to Toronto in 7 off that bucket. That Minnesota team they went to the playoffs.
He's going to challenge you, and some guys going to run away from that.
Yeah, that's why I feel like the Bulls got rid of him and Minnesota got rid of him because they didn't like his competitive edge, man. He just want to win.
That was about Wiggins and Towns.
Yeah,
they
couldn't take it.
They didn't like the big brother, and they was just like, "Yo, we gotta do without him." And see, but that's the thing. He ended up going to the ship. Wiggins gets sent out because don't nobody want to play with him. You know what I'm saying? And I put it this way: going back to Golden State, if Wiggins can really be Robin to Steph's Batman, and they make the playoffs, that's a win for them. But a lot of that's going to depend on how good Wiggins is.
I don't
Because
know the
you
way
know,
him
like
and
I mean,
Oubre
everybody
playing
had
right
all those
now.
promises. The number one, next Scottie Pippen, Rudy Gay, all these they throwing all these names out here, and he's never been able to live up to that. And do you see it? You see what they say right there? They say too soft up here.
You
Like
see
it
what he
take a. I
doing?
tell people, it hurt to be the man. You're gonna get beat up every game. People game planning for you. And Wiggins like, yo, I'll take this 14 to 15 and chill. And Jimmy like, no, I need 25. And he like, no, I'm cool. You need to talk to Karl Anthony Towns about that. Yeah,
No, that's facts
yeah,
though. Even now, him and Oubre over there with Steph, they is not helping that man. What they shot? What was it like 2 for 36 for three? Like, come on,
right.
y'all can't do that.
And the thing is, Steph got to go for 60, and they can go for 12, and then it's different. But like, if he got to do that the whole season, they in trouble.
You know what that reminded me of? That kind of reminded me of that Derrick Rose situation when Derrick Rose was the man and he got to do all the scoring. And I feel
Yeah.
like when your point guard doing all that, that's never a good ending. That's never a good ending when your point guard got to drop
No,
50, 60 points and do.
that's too much for one dude.
Yeah,
I don't care what team it is, and like people don't realize how worn out a cat like James Harden is after a game. He played ones the whole game. Like think about look at James Harden highlights. Where have you ever seen him come off a pin down screen and he curl and just shoot it? Hardly
no,
ever.
yeah,
Or he come off a flare screen and pop out and just shoot. That's the game. That's why Steph can be so effective at times because he don't need it in his hands the whole game.
mm-mm.
Steph will screen somebody, get a screen, knock it down. That's basketball. It's more efficient. If I got to go between my legs 15 times and I have to do that 60 times a game, I'm gonna be tired.
Facts,
And like I
facts.
said, don't get me wrong, Bam can score his butt off, but the
Yeah,
way that he scores makes it harder for him to win.
yeah. Because if your game plan is strictly on him, they stuck. Because he's so ball damn that he gonna dribble the whole 24 out before he shoot it.
Why you think when that trade rumors came, other than money, people was like, no, I ain't trying to hoop with him. A lot of them other pro, they was like, nah, G, I'm chilling. I ain't trying to know.
That's
No,
why
no,
Chris Paul
no.
bounced. Chris Paul
Right.
said, "I can't do this."
Chris Paul trying to win. He saw what that looked like.
Yeah,
We all, yeah. Think about what we said about Chris Paul at the beginning. He creates winning environments, and so when you look at that, you know what I'm saying? He didn't want to play with him no more.
yeah. Jokic or Embiid?
Who?
Jokic or Embiid?
Golly, man, what you trying to do out here?
I told you I'm gonna test you, man.
And see with them two, it's like styles. Like I can
I was just
say
gonna say that. Yup.
I like Embiid better because like he's more agile, mobile. He shoots it. Like I don't think he's as dominant on the box as he should be.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, nowadays not a lot of dudes post up no more. But
Mm-mm.
nobody can take away from what Jokic is, fam. He like a throwback that got the tray ball at the five.
Yeah.
I think he'll get busy in any era because he can't go quick, so he just take his time and methodically go to work. And when you make the wrong move, he throwing backdoor passes, he hitting threes, he setting screens, rolling. I fool with him though. Like that's a
Yeah.
rough one. That's more came to personal preference, and I like him be better.
Okay. Now this one, everybody told me to kind of change it up a little bit, but I'm gonna see what you say. Dirk or Tim Duncan? Look, my guy
See,
yesterday told me, man, you
like
can't do that. You gotta do KG and Tim Duncan.
I think Tim Duncan is probably the best power forward to play, right?
Hmm.
But once again, when we talking style, I liked how Dirk played more. If you
Yeah.
watch a Tim Duncan mix, all you're gonna see is backboard jumpers and jump hooks. He kept it real basic. You don't want to watch a Tim Duncan mixtape because you're gonna be like, yo, you gonna do anything else? He gonna face you up, go off the glass, face you up, go off the glass, ball fake, one dribble late. It's like, yo. But he killed everybody with that.
Yeah.
So you can't take, like, once again, it's like he the best power forward to ever play, and he kept it super simple.
Yeah.
Super simple.
Um,
So
Steve Nash or Jason Kidd?
Jason Kidd.
Melo or Paul Pierce?
Who?
Melo or Paul Pierce?
I'm going Melo.
Okay, good. Whew.
No,
I
no,
was
no.
scared for a second.
Hey, listen. Best triple threat game. Maybe
Thank you.
top 2 or 3 all time.
Thank you.
Listen, he
Thank
was the
you.
evolution of Bernard King, my boy. Cole, a walking if a walking bucket was a person, is him.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we going Russell Westbrook or D Rose?
You ain't got to ask me that. We going Rose all day.
Okay. Well, this one I kind of figured this one. Devin Booker or Donovan Mitchell?
I'm gonna go D Book. Easy.
Okay, and then this one is kind of no. Kobe or D Wade?
Cole.
Yeah.
I'm going Cole. Can't deny Cole, man. I don't think he get enough respect though. Like even with
Yeah.
the LeBron conversation, you can't act like he never existed. Like dude was a flat out we was at ABCD together.
You and Cole?
Like he was a senior and I was a sophomore. Like I told you, when I hit that growth spurt, stuff started changing. And I'm like, yo, like every time he would play, you just noticed the crowd would migrate to his court. And I'm like, yo, and Ron Artest was there, Richard Jefferson, Jason. It was a bunch of people there. And I'm like, but he was just out there cooking people. Like twin, cross, pull up, fade away. I'm like, yo, this dude look 18. And like he said, he was going to the league. It was a couple games. He ain't really try to use the right hand. So I'm going to use the left. So he was just different from jump.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Bron could ever pass Kobe or Mike? Despite the final, because a lot of people go by records, you know what I'm saying? Finals records, all that type of stuff.
If Bron could squeeze out 2, and that's rough, and he would be at 6, I think you really have to take into consideration what he's done. And like we talked about the 9 times in a row, and I really do. I look at rosters because you're only good as your worst teammate. You look at and a lot of times he didn't have, and sometimes he did with that team that lost to the Mavericks. That's the one that really, really messes him up, though.
Yeah.
That loss he took to them. But when you look at what Mike has done, like defensively, leading the league and scoring, you got, finals MVP, regular season MVP, first team All NBA. Like, bruh, it's hard to surpass that. And he really kept his hand on the league, like suppressed. Look at the cats that didn't get rings. When you look at the dream team, look at all of them dudes that didn't get a ring because of him.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And he suppressed that group of people so much that, like, even when you looked at The Last Dance, I was just like, yo, would y'all even try to compete with the man? They like, man, couldn't nobody do nothing with the black cat. Man, y'all better figure something out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like it got to go to MJ. And it was like it just got to a point where even the greats conceded to him because he just was whooping them so much that they just put their hands up. It was like, I'm like, are y'all gonna compete with him? Barkley, man, look, that's the greatest thing I ever seen. I'm just like, bro, Barkley, you was still like 25-12 your whole career. Like, come on, man, go get you some more teammates too. Y'all better draft better or something. But it was just like Mike owned them people, man.
Okay, so
Patrick Ewing. Go down the
yeah.
line. It is what it is.
So I know somebody said in the comments, not Mike. So I think Shaq had said on TV, if Bron gets 2 more rings and pass Kareem at all-time points, that may kind of have some
There's a
say so.
discussion to be had. I can say that. But when you look at the see, my thing is I don't want to even have a conversation really until the end. Because at that point
Facts.
we can lay everything down and say, okay, how many of these do you have? How many of these do you have? And you
Yeah.
look at that. Now the difference is with Brian, if you take the impact off the court, that's where he
Hmm.
gains the edge with people too.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like he's like a humanitarian. So people, like I said, people like him.
Yup.
You know what I'm saying? Mike, you saw what the last. I don't care if you want to win, come play with me. If you
Yeah.
want people to be nice to you, you can go over there. But that's not gonna work over there. So Mike was more so, the type to go for the jugular. While Brian
Facts.
would be like, "Hey man, why don't y'all come chill with me, man?" Like, and Mike like, "No, I don't need you in my personal space."
Facts. Okay. What was the last 2 questions for you? What was the best piece of advice somebody ever gave you before?
Wow, best piece of advice. Well, keep your word.
Facts.
When you tell people, you're going to do something, like make sure you be about that because, people really depend on you and they want to, hold you to your word. And if you can't do that, what are you worth? Nobody going to trust you. Like I said, I'm telling kids and grown people all the time what they should do to get to next levels. And like, I'll tell a kid, if you handle your part, I'll help you. Right?
Yeah.
At the time come for me to help them and I don't make no phone calls, that's phony to me. I don't need them
Yeah.
type of people around me. And I'm not gonna be that type of person either. So, keep your word.
Okay. And then the last question I got for you is like, who you think I should have on here next? You know what I'm saying? Who will come on here, give some good advice, tell their story, get to know them a little personally.
Um, a good. I think you know what? I think a good person to get on here would be like a Pierre Pierce because he has a hell of a story to tell in terms of what he went through. Like I remember, bro, and I'm not going, to tell this man's business, but I just remember in his situation, Chris Mullins. I knew a guy that knew Chris Mullins, and they went to get him so he could play summer league. And I remember talking to him. He was like, "Yo, I averaged 15 and 5." In NBA summer league, like, yo, it don't get too much better than that. You just learning a system, and like he had a real live shot at it, and to be there, like at the pinnacle of it at summer league. I didn't have that experience. I told you I was at mini camps and different camps,
Mm-hmm.
NBA camps, but like he was right there. They ready to sign the contract, and there was outside influence and factors that didn't allow, what I mean, that didn't allow him, what I'm saying, to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
man, that's rough.
Yeah.
And also, even a cat like Paul McPherson,
Okay.
somebody who was in the show, he was in the
Yep.
league, and it's one of them situations where you get a opportunity and it slipped through your hands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's always a message in that on either side.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Them
Facts.
guys, them guys got a story to tell. And I
Yeah.
respect all of it, man. And that's what we're here to do, tell our stories, so the younger, Chicago generation,
Yep.
follow in the footsteps and know what to and what not to do in terms of they process, because that's they should use us as examples.
Facts. Yeah, big homie. If you can, plug me with them, help me get in touch with them. Like I said, I'd love to have them on here to help tell their story, man. That's pretty much why I created this. You know what I'm saying? Something I love to do, just to uplift, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we gotta learn from other people's mistakes to make sure we don't make them same mistakes.
No
So yeah,
doubt.
if you can definitely plug them with me, you know what I'm saying? I get in contact with them, set up an interview, and we can get it going.
I get that to you right after we get off here, my man. And I definitely
Appreciate it,
appreciate the
man.
opportunity, my. I appreciate it, man.
Man, for sure, man. All love to you, coach. Appreciate it. Much success and health and everything to you. Stay safe. And we'll stay in touch. We'll chop it up.
No doubt, my man. Appreciate you.
Peace.
Peace.